Hello all, it's Rachel from Suns Tarot, and I'm back today with a daily reading. I'm going to do this for as long as it feels good to me. I'm really trying to, even though I've been studying tarot for such a long time, I'm really trying to exercise my voice and my intuition together. I love writing, and I usually write, but I'm really trying to develop speaking in the moment. So I've got my super hit incense today. I've got my red candle today. Actually, I love this candle because it's got all of this beautiful, it just reminds me of space in a way, or Jupiter. We have Jupiter in Aquarius. We have Saturn in Aquarius right now. Of course, Aquarius is the Fool card. Let me put this aside. Got my water, I've got all my elements here. Today, people, I've even got my little dog here for the Fool. Look at him, hello. Yeah. Today is a 7 in numerology, and a 7 is solitude. It's introspection. It's studying and learning and observing, and especially with the 16 forming the 7 like we have today, it's about learning lessons ourselves before we try to teach them to others. Oh boy, it's a big one. It's a big one. It's much easier to say it than to do it, to feel it. I knew this card was going to be the number 1 card out because every time I cut the deck to shuffle, underneath my left, I could see it. This little goofy jester person peeking his head out at me. So I knew this was going to be the first card to jump out, and I was so happy that it did because honestly, this is my favorite card. I love the idea of freedom today. Freedom to take that time for yourself. Freedom to go on a walk and be in nature. Aquarius rules the ankles, the shins, the calves, circulation. Think about it. Ankles are constantly in motion to respond to gravity. They're quite animalistic, actually. And with the Fool, we are getting into our animal wisdom. The little dog that pulls at the ankles. Is the little dog really holding the Fool back from making mistakes? Or guiding him from behind, from within, from his unconscious, from the unconscious collective, finding your individual purpose within the collective through being led, praying and asking to be led to your purpose. How beautiful. 3 of Wands. This is usually about the maturity of action, choosing, doing, creating, leading. We have to think of Mars. We have to think of Aries here. We have to think about beginnings, especially with the Fool. What do we have to beware of, though? Anger. Look how they both are holding these diagonal staffs across their body. This is right over the liver, crosses right over the liver. We have to beware of anger, especially toward ourselves, holding ourselves back from not letting go of anger, past mistakes, shoulds, expectations, rigidity. Beware of standstills today. I feel like this has a lot to do with Chiron in Aries. Chiron is our wounds of the past. Of course, on the flip side of that, we have diagonal, which is power. So, true power. It's not angry, competitive. Beware of being in comparison with others today. The expectations of others. We are deconditioning from that today. Shoulds that we place on ourselves. We should be farther along in this process. No, we shouldn't. We are exactly where we need to be today at this moment. Head protection. This is a full moon behind his head, but I always see this as it being an astronaut. A bubble around the head. Protection of the head. Aries rules the head, the face. What's behind the face? That play by Sam Shepard, Buried Child. There's this beautiful monologue in it, I think given by Vince, looking in the mirror. And he's talking about generations, generations of his dad, grandpa, great-grandpa, and talking about his original face, the face behind his face. Such a beautiful idea, especially in relationship with the Fool, this zero. It's everything. It's all. It's alpha and omega, beginning and end. It's being able to intuitively see the whole picture today. Would it be a great day to ask for the guidance of your ancestors? For sure. To set up some sort of altar with loved ones that have passed, to light a candle there, to ask for guidance? Yes, that would be a wonderful action to do on a 7-day. Here we have with the Fool. Where does his new little twig that he's formed with his Saturnian bundle here, his little bit of baggage he's chose to carry with him just to keep him honest, just to keep him grounded in reality, or her. When I say him, just please know that I also mean her. I even though these are somewhat gendered, the Fool especially is totally androgynous. It's your inner child. It's also as you get older, you think an inner child could be an 80-year-old too, right? It's again it's both. It's simultaneously being both things, young and old today. A budding spring twig. Hasn't burst out in flowers yet, but has those beautiful green buds. Where's this crossing the Fool? Solar plexus. Impatience. Beware of impatience today. Beware of rigidity. Beware of striving. If you're going to strive towards anything, strive towards the unknown. Openness, receptivity, malleability. The wisdom of the animal is pliable. I watch my cat and he's so flexible and pliable, and he can jump in. He's going to jump on the counter, and I have all of these sprouts and these little eggshells that I've planted, and his foot that lands only lands in the eggshell part that didn't have any soil in it. I mean, how did he know midair where to put his foot? This is the energy that we're going with today. You might strive towards that kind of energy by, if you believe in this kind of stuff, to open up a book at random and see what you find, see what you read, see what you can learn just by chance. The tarot speaks to us through randomness and chance. today to go on a walk and not know where you're going, not to have a destination. That's the attitude to take today. As opposed to stopping yourself before you even start because you have a goal that is too big today, too closed, too pointed, too focused. We got to find the mid-ground here between complete abandon and complete control. Thank God that both of these cards are non-conformists. Do not conform to someone else's ideals today. Be in your own experience. We're gaining new emotional knowledge right now, new physical knowledge, new mental knowledge. In fact, we're finding out that all of those things are one. You can't change the physical without changing the emotional and spiritual and mental. You just can't. We have to use language, especially with the Three of Wands. We have to use language, and we want to use language, and we want to communicate, and we want to express. Be careful of expressing negativity about yourself today, expressing those dark things out loud, or judgments, expectations, shoulds. You're telling lies about yourself, and it's best to just be silent today if you have nothing nice to say. Yes, if you don't have anything nice to say, especially about yourself today, be quiet. 7 rules, silence. What are these oracle cards? They have so much connection today. Recognize your first thought. If you've ever heard of the artist Arthur Russel, the musician, what a Uranian character. Genius musician. He seemed to change like a butterfly. And he wrote a song called First Thought, Best Thought. And I've always remembered that title. How perfect do you get with that? Today's lesson, this is a day of intuitive practice, where you acknowledge that your first thought is your best thought and usually corresponds to your clearest intuitive voice. Your goal today, to pay attention to your intuition. What jumped out with it? We're watering our little hearts here. Today's lesson, acknowledge one situation in your life that's taking your power. Transform that situation into something positive and maintain that perspective as a spiritual discipline for the entire day. When your spirit slips into negativity, simply breathe and then pray your way back to an inner space of positive visualization. Your goal, to practice the art of transformation. What is the one thing that is holding you back? What is the one thing that's holding you in standstill? That would be a great way to use this energy, is choose one thing that you can control today to heal up, to dress that wound. Look at these big armholes, these circles, where we see the hands coming out. We go through the hands, we go through the tangible, we go deep, 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 deep inside, through the breath, through the arms, into the heart. I love that his heart is not crossed by the diagonal. I love that the Fool's heart is not crossed by the diagonal. True power today is going to come from within. We're not going to be able to physically force anything, and to do so would not be moving forward in the right way, in the best way. Why are we transforming? To find our meaningful purpose. We're tasting, smelling, seeing, observing. Yes, there's thinking, but intuiting, allowing, receiving into this zero, this circle. That space, we're really delving into the space between intuiting and action. It's a beautiful space. If you would want to lose yourself in some sort of creative action today, that would be a wonderful expression of this. Something that you do alone. Coloring, drawing, singing, chanting, planting flowers, gardening, anything creative where you just go with the flow would be a really great idea today for this 7 energy and the 0 and this Mercury and Aries. Yeah, I love it. Okay, all. I hope this gives you a message today that speaks, that sparks, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later.